Hi, fifth grade, and welcome back. Today we're going to begin working on kind of the next phase of what we're doing with decimals. The last few days we have covered, of course, just understanding what decimals are, how decimals move with multiplication and division, understanding our place value, and then also diving a bit into our exponents and conversions with exponents and how they relate to decimals. Today we're almost going to take a step back and look at the different place values and what they're called and how we should understand place values with decimals. Okay. So of course I have my place value chart here on this first one, and that's where we're going to start. So here is my decimal point, okay? On the left side, what we're used to is our ones and our tens, and you guys know that goes all the way up to millions and past that, right? We learned that in fourth grade. Now, what do we call the ones to the right? Well, the ones to the right, the very first one is called tenths. Notice that I emphasize that th sound. The very first one is tenths. What's strange about decimals and oftentimes mixes students up is that there isn't like a oneths, right? There is no oneths. It goes right into tenths. After that, we have hundredths and then thousandths. Maybe pause this video here and just spend some time saying those, because it is important to understand that tens is different than tenths. And notice that I'm pointing when I say th sound. Maybe give that a practice. So I have this number here converted, or pulled out rather, into the place value chart. And very simply, this number is 35.827. Or you could say I have 35 and 827 thousandths. So notice that I am going off of the largest place value that I have here, which is thousandths. I'm not calling it 827 tenths. I'm going off to the largest place value here. Just like if I write out a number like, 658,000, you would start off with 658,000, right? You wouldn't just call it 605.2, right? So let's look at this one here. And I will draw a quick place value chart for us to work with. And this is really good practice for you guys as well to see how these place value charts might be drawn, because with decimals they just look a tiny bit different. Okay, and then I'll put my decimal right here. Great, and now I will label it. So I have my tens, my ones, my tenths, my hundredths, then my thousandths, like so. Okay, so what I'm going to now do is I'm going to pull this number and all its digits into the correct place value spots. So I'm even going to draw arrows for this just to help. That's in the tenths place, so I have 2 tenths. This is in the hundredths place, so when I have 4 hundredths, and then this 9 comes down here, and I have 9 thousandths, like so. And of course, I can do the same on the next one, which is quite a bit larger. Oh, did not want it to be blue. So I have my tens, my ones, my decimal. This is going to be almost a little too big, which is okay. Tenths, my hundredths, and my thousandths. And we'll leave this blank for now. Now let's take a quick second and label it. Tens, ones, decimal, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. And if you're wondering if there is a place value past thousandths, you would be correct. Just like our numbers on this side go on forever, our numbers on this side also go on forever. So after thousandths, you could guess there's a 10 thousandths, 100 thousandths, a millionths, 10 millionths, etc., 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 all the way on. All right, let's put my place value decimal in here, like so. Now let's just drag these numbers in. I have a 5 in the tens, a 7 in the ones, a 2 in the tenths, 8 in the hundredths, 1 in the thousandths. Like so. Easy peasy. All right, let's come on down here. Now we have these numbers, so this is, as a review, this, when it's written out in essentially number form, we call it standard form, right? So in this chart, I have 3 numbers all in word form. They're written out just as if we were to write them instead of put them in numerically. They're words instead of numbers. So we're going to take these, we're going to say it out loud to ourselves, and then we're going to write them as a number, so in standard form over here. They've already given us the first one. 4 thousandths. So they just put a 4 in the thousandths place. Pretty simple. So 24 thousandths. So 24 thousandths is going to look like this. 0. I know I need a 4 in the thousandths. So I need a 2 in the hundredths and a 0 in the tenths. 24 thousandths. It's not 0.24. That's a very common mistake. A strategy you could do if you were to write this out, I'll do this over here on the side, you could even give yourself the decimal and start on the right, right? You know your thousandths place is all the way over here. Put your 4 in, put your 2 in, and then fill in the rest with zeros. You could almost work backwards if you can wrap your head around the way the place value is. You can even give yourself a place value chart to help yourself. Okay, let's do this one. So it's 1 and 324 thousandths. Okay, 1 and 324 thousandths. So the key thing here to notice is that this and is right here. This and tells me that there's a decimal right there. So I actually have a 1 in the ones place, a decimal, 324 thousandths. So I'm starting in the thousandth place. I have 24 of them, and then there's 300. So it's 324 thousandths, I'm sorry. So 1 and decimal, 324 thousandths. As always, I look forward to seeing your work. Reach out if you need any help, and have a great day.